Boom. And I've just realised I actually didn't even start recording for those people on the audio experience. So if you are listening to the audio experience, you've missed the first 2 minutes of this broadcast. It was completely my fault. But let's carry on as we let's carry on as if nothing has happened. So there you go, guys. You people who are joining us live just heard a little clip from our member-only mastermind session with Willis, top casting director, TV casting director that we held last Tuesday. Don't worry, those people on the audio experience. I will be playing you some more clips so you won't miss out too much. But it's even more reason to get over to actonthis.tv and get your membership to access the full thing and come and hang out with us every single week with a top casting director, agent, actor, writer, or producer. So you'll see there, for those people who haven't joined Act on This Mastermind before, that's how they work. We all join on Zoom. We are joined by a top guest, and then we bring members on one by one. We ask questions. I do like a 30-minute kind of presentation at the start. We really get to dive into a casting director's process, exactly what you need to do as an actor to be seen, and people come away with knowledge that genuinely is moving the needle in their career. People every single week are signing with the agents that we bring on, are getting auditions and replies, via email from the casting directors that we have on. People are having their show reels watched, and people are really making moves in their career. So do come and get involved in that. Just going to have a look in the chat before we play some clips in a bit more depth from that webinar as well. Let us know what's going on. Sharon says Catherine was so lovely. She's a legend, isn't she? So good. Brendan says he loves Catherine as well. Brendan, what's happening, man? Brendan says he's going through a bit of a tough time, and everyone's backing him up, which is good though. He says, I appreciate your kindness. I will survive. What's happened, Brendan? Let us know. As a community, Brendan's a big voice in the community. Let us know what the crack is, Brendan, and we'll all. If you need our help, mate, you have got it. Definitely, no problem at all. And Alicia says, is that the words for that song? Do you remember the 21st night of... Is it September? Or are you making it up? Because it is. That's what it is tonight. 21st night of September. Sandra says you love that webinar as well. Everyone just loved the webinar, basically. It is decent, isn't it? When you get to speak to these people like that one-to-one. There was a few snippets of questions you might have just heard in that little trailer that I just played. Those on the audio experience, you wouldn't have heard that because I didn't press record in time, but you will hear those in more depth now as we move through this broadcast tonight. I'm going to play just a couple of questions that every actor seems to want to know the answer to whenever I bring like a comedy casting director on. Who wants to work in comedy for a start? Let us know in the chat if you're here live. Who is like, a big comic player? You're like, you know what, I really want to work in comedy more than drama. Not that you can't work in both, of course you can. But let us know if you are like, really keen to be working in comedy, because there are some questions that I just think every actor should know the answer to if that is the case, and I'm going to play you two of them like on tonight's broadcast as well. So let us know if that is you. Wendy says me. Wendy, you are destined. Wendy, we're gonna dive into your question actually in a minute as well. You asked a question that is really valuable. The answer is really, really valuable. And I was really glad that you asked that question. I'm going to play that for people now. Esther needs to finish writing her sketch. Fanny, you're all comedy. He says I wouldn't mind a bit of comedy. Your life is comedy. Every time I see you online, you are doing funny stuff. So Fanny is the queen of comedy around these parts. My life is a bloody comedy, says Nicola. So's mine. Mine literally is ridiculous. And Chris said he got told he's a comedic actor. He doesn't see it, but he loves comedy. Sometimes the best people are the ones who don't know the funny, Chris. You are funny probably I think you are without knowing it. Right, here's a couple of questions. Here's the first question that everybody tends to ask when they want to know whether their reel is kind of prepping them well enough to work in comedy, in terms of is it showing them off as a comic actor. Martin, member at actonthis.tv, asked this, and I think everybody needs to hear the answer. Those people who are watching, by the way, not listening, got a slight redesign of the micro content. Let us know if you like it. Here we go.
My current show reel is basically pure drama. I've taken the comedy bits out. Should I put some comedy clips into my show reel, or have a separate comedy show reel on Spotlight? So the relevant show reel should go to the relevant casting, if that makes sense.
I would definitely put one in there. And a lot of people do that. They go drama show reel, comedy show reel, voice reel. And I think that's really handy, because what I often do is I watch people's comedy stuff, and even if there's nothing on there that's quite the right tone that I'm looking for, I'll then go and look at their drama one and go, well, they can act and I know they can be funny, so I know I can shift them around kind of on the scale, or good director can. But I think it's definitely worth putting in there. I already would say you should be doing comedy.
I think.
It's a compliment. For me, it's a huge compliment. No, because there's something I'm entertained by you. So yes, definitely put comedy in there. And I think then people can see what they're looking for. Whereas if somebody starts and goes, oh, he's punching people a lot, and getting a bit aggro and a bit Ross Kempy, then they might not watch through. Whereas if there's just a little bit, if somebody has a comedy bit, then I'll click on that. And if I'm looking for drama, I'll look at their drama bit. But I actually think they both inform each other. So I find it quite useful to see both. But
so as in Spotlight, label it differently. So you can have your video. So you'd have drama reel at the top, a separate comedy reel. So you get a bank in the back end of Spotlight of 20 minutes, basically. So you can host on their server 20 minutes of video in whatever amount of number of clips you want. So you could have 21-minute clips or 4 5-minute clips, whatever. But the only thing is on the front end, what you show to a casting director or have on your profile at any one time can be a maximum of 5. And then you can just choose, Martin, what you show at any one time on the front end. You might have, 2-minute 2-minute drama, 2-minute comedy, and 1 minute of something else, and that's what you show on the front end. But it can all be stored in the back end, so you can have more on there and just bring it out as and when you want, really. actonthis.tv/live if you want to get your membership and you want to come and hang out on a weekly basis with people like Catherine Willis, top casting directors, agents, actors, writers and producers in this industry. So the question there that we answered is basically, as an actor, should I have a separate comedy reel to a drama reel? Okay. And as one of the UK's top casting directors for comedy, Catherine's like, yeah, she thinks it's a good idea. Now, I don't know if you're aware, but Spotlight recently redesigned the way that you can display your video on your profile. It's much nicer now. It's much more aesthetically pleasing. And the back end is a bit different now. So you can actually upload a bank basically of 20 minutes worth of clips in whatever order you want. You could have 4 5-minute clips. I wouldn't recommend clips that are 5 minutes long though. No way. I think 2.5 minutes maximum, 220. I would always do. My maximum clip is 220 so I can put it out on Twitter. But you can upload various clips up to the length of 20 minutes in the back end of Spotlight, and then depending on whether you paid back in the day to have more than 5 minutes on your profile on the front end, I didn't, although I know a few people have and they've still got access to that 10 minutes. You can't buy that anymore. That's just not available. But if you did buy it, I think you now still get that, or most people like myself, you'll just get 5 minutes. But it means that you can choose what to display on the front end. So if you were, putting yourself up for a comedic role and you had something that was, congruent with that, I would recommend you not only have your main reel, but like, Catherine was saying there, you have some separate bits, because if she can easily look at your comedy stuff, she's not a mind reader. She's not going to be able to just, go, oh, at 2 minutes and 1 second, Martin's comedy stuff comes up in his reel. The easier you can make it for casting directors to see what they need in order to buy you, the better. So if you've not seen what's going on with Spotlight and their media in the back end, log in and check it out, because it has changed recently. So do have a look at that. But that was the first question that I know a lot of people ask when I've brought comedy casting directors on before. We've had other massive comedy casting directors on before, people like Nikki Bly, Rachel Freck. Rachel cast The Office. She's an Emmy winner. She cast The Office with Ricky Gervais, just a little project of hers. You'll be able to find the replays of those talks that we did, those mastermind calls on the website, with Rachel, with Nikki Bly, Rachel Sheridan as well. There's quite a lot of comedy, Julie Harkin. I mean, we've had some massive, massive names. If you're not a member, you're hurting your career. Go and get involved. All the replays of those mastermind calls are on the website, but you will hear from them very similar stuff in terms of, what they want from actors. And a lot of them do say, look, yes, have a main reel where you might have a mix of contrasting comedy and drama, but if you can separate those out as well, so you can target people much more specifically with what you want them to see, then that's not ever going to be a bad thing. That's going to be a good thing. Will the 10 minutes be there permanently for folk that bought it? Nicola, that's something I do not know. So if you did buy extra media on Spotlight back in the day when you could buy extra, that I never did, once again, you do now still have that in the back end. So you will, if you bought 10 minutes, you'll still have 10 minutes. I only have 5, and I can't buy any more. No one can buy any more. I don't know if they're just going to legacy you in. They call it legacy, legacy you in on that plan for a year, I don't know, or whether they will just reward you and go, you know what, going forward, Nicola, you can have the 10 minutes forever. It's worth an email to Spotlight though, and if you do find out an answer, will you please post it in the Acts on This Facebook group, because I would love to know as well, because I just do not know the answer to that one. So that's Reels. Now going on to headshots. Wendy asked a fantastic question, and Wendy is just freaking comedy all over. Although, Wendy, I saw you put out that Cast Me Comp video where it's not comedy at all. It was a dramatic performance, and it was really, really good. Wendy Walker put something out today on Twitter. Genuinely really decent. Really, really good. And you play that role so well. Wendy plays the perfect loving mother whose son's gone bad. Wendy plays like a Dot Cotton character where Nick could have gone mental. and you know, she's trying to like help him, and he's just gone, you know, completely gone astray. No matter what Dot does, cannot help Nick. Nick's just a lost soul, and that was a similar kind of thing that you did on that, you know, on that self-tape, Wendy. It was really, really good. So you can equally do drama, but you are very comedic. And this was the question that Wendy asked, similar to Reels, but do we need separate headshots to make us look a little bit more comedic or a little bit more dramatic? Here is Catherine's answer, but it's a really valuable answer. Check it out.
If you wanted to get into comedy, would you suggest you have kind of a comedy flavoured kind of headshot, something that's a little bit more, just a normal one?
No, because there's nothing worse than someone trying to prove they're funny in a photograph.
All right.
Because actually, you know, again, stylistically, a lot of comedy isn't it's very naturalistic, it's very low-key. You look at things that are called comedies like Afterlife and those kind of shows, it's all about people playing it for real, but just knowing where the comedy is. So if someone's coming in, you know, with that kind of headshot, then you think, that's going to will they ever bring it down enough for this? So I think just have a really standard straight headshot.
Okay.
And if
I'm not low key at all.
You should see the leggings Wendy turns up to our meetups in. She's not low key at all, Catherine. She's off her head completely.
You don't want people to be low key, but what you don't want to do is sort of be like, oh no, not for this show, you know, because presumably you can take that up and down depending on.
Oh, I can bring it down when I need to.
Once again, actonthis.tv/live. Grab your membership if you want to get access to the full chat. But that was Catherine's answer on headshots. Ultimately, don't worry about it. You don't need to show you are super comedic by doing something crazy in your headshot. Show reel, yes, it's going to help. Headshot, don't worry about it. You don't need to try and be anything mad in your headshots. Although I have seen, back in the day when Spotlight, you remember the Spotlight books, where you actually got the big, thick catalogues, and there was like a whole library of them. When I was at drama school, we used to have them in the green room, and we would spend like hours just sifting through, just looking at headshots. John Cleese, his headshot wasn't even a headshot. It was him dressed in a rabbit's outfit. I'm sure he was leaning against a tree. That was his headshot. A little bit more well-known than all us lot, a little bit more famous and a bit more successful on the comedy scene. So when you get to his level, you probably can be funny in your headshots, Wendy. But for now, let's just keep it on the down low a little bit. So again, that's just another question that I think is really valuable for actors to know the answer to, because there's a lot of people, it could be very easy to get that wrong. I think a lot of people try and be everything they can possibly be to everybody in their headshots. They get a million costume changes, and they end up playing characters in their headshots, which I never think is a good idea. Your headshot should be a really accurate representation of you, particularly when you're starting out in your career. It's very easy to look one thing in a still frame, as in one frame, but it's very different when you're watching someone in 25 frames a second, which is television, and you can see how they move and all their tics and how they walk and talk and sound. I could look really mean and moody in a headshot, but it's not what I'm like in real life. So if someone buys me off the back of my headshot and brings me in for an audition, expecting a mean and moody geezer to walk through the door, and I walk through the door, they're going to be, well, wait a minute, I feel a bit cheated because that's not, it's not who you are. It doesn't mean I can't act like that. Of course I can, but it's not, particularly when you're starting out, it's not who I am. And when you're first starting out, you're getting cast for what you are, not what you can be. So just have a look at your headshots and go, does this authentically represent me? Or if not, do I need to get something that certainly does? Nicola says, so I did actually email them and they kind of avoided the question. What's this, Nicola? What are you talking about? They said that cast directors prefer shorter reels. I wrote back agreeing with them, but arguing with more time, you can have more for a CD to see. What are you talking about, Nicola? Who are you arguing with? Just saw that and thought, what's going on? Let us know. But yeah, you can still fit a lot into 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I have a 2 minute and 20 full show reel with about 6-7 things in that I've done. I have 1 minute and 40 seconds of police scenes because I get cast as an officer a lot, and that still leaves me with 1 minute to just play around with whatever I want. You can, if you edit well, you can really fit a lot into 5 minutes. If you've got 10 minutes, even more. But you certainly wouldn't. I wouldn't ever have a clip on my reel like in total that was over. Well, I wouldn't do it over 2:20, but that's just me. 3 minutes at a push, but if I see anything that's over 2 minutes and 20, I'm just like, actors have missed a trick, because if it was 2 minutes and 20 or under, you could tweet it. If you can't tweet it, it's just nowhere near as valuable to you. So I like to have like everything 2 minutes and 20 or under. Anna says, I feel so clueless in this industry and I really want to act in films. Anna, you need a membership to actonthis.tv. Come and join us every single week. You'll get a better education than you would get at any drama school in the world. I mean, literally on the planet. Go and spend 50 grand at drama school if you want. And you'll learn how to act, but you won't get anything on the business of the business. I'll give you a better than drama school degree in the business of acting and the TV industry in the UK for 224 quid a year. It's a complete no-brainer. Actors are crazy. They'll happily go and spend 15 grand a year at drama school, but you ask them to invest 6 quid a week in their career in the business, and they're like, oh, what? I don't want to do that. They just don't understand that actually that's what really makes them the money. It's not the craft. Yes, you've got to be good, but if you don't know how to implement that and turn it into a job, then you're screwed. You might as well just continue doing whatever your day job is. Let's have a look. What else have we got in the comments? And I'm going to play you another clip from this webinar. Then we're going to do some Q&A as well. Booked new headshots today, says Wendy. Nice one. Amazing. Got some new ones. So good stuff, Wendy. Good to see you taking action. Right, the last clip we've got. This actually has nothing to do with comedy in particular, actually. This is just some motivation on a Monday for actors who might have had auditions recently or self-tapes and you haven't got the part, right? We all, if we're lucky, we have, lots of auditions, and when you have lots of auditions, you don't get them all. So I hope you have lots of auditions, and thus I hope you end up with more losses and some wins, because the more losses you accumulate in, the more wins you're going to get at some point. So like every no is a step closer to a yes. This was a great question that a member of actonthis.tv asked about being brought in time and time again, and then also on the off chance when you do just fluff it. We've all had auditions. Let me know in the chat if you've had an audition where you just have done a shit job. I definitely have. I told you about that Hollyoaks audition I did once that I rushed to because I was doing a voiceover job in Manchester and I had to rush to Liverpool for this audition, and I had prepared and knew exactly what I was doing, but I just hadn't given myself time to just calm down. I was running, I was rushing, my head was still a million miles an hour, and I should have said, can I just have 10 minutes in reception just to breathe and just chill out? And I didn't. I went in because I thought, it's all right, I know it, I can smash it. And I completely fucked it up 3 times. 3 times. I nailed it on the 4th time. But I was like, I left that audition going, you do not deserve that role, Ross. Someone else will have gone in there and done a better job or been more consistent. I just didn't deserve that job. Since Hollyoaks have brought me back, and I did 4 episodes of Hollyoaks just in lockdown very recently. So what you're going to hear in this clip is true. It's not just Catherine playing lip service. If you do a bad audition, don't worry about it. It will not bury you. It will not be the end of the world. You will not get blacklisted. You will get another shot, and you will get multiple shots. If a casting director likes you, they're going to bring you back time and time again because they're going to champion you and they want you to get a job. So here's Catherine on getting seen again until you get that part.
Let's say that you're not necessarily right for that role, but you liked them in the audition. Would you then have a go-to list where you're like, he's good, so we'll bring him back in for something else if something else comes in for him?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, like I say, it's my job to know as many actors as possible, and there's actors who I've kind of met for job after job after job, and I just haven't brought them in for the right thing, potentially, but then I've gone, I know who it is.
Let's say you brought them in for another role that you thought this is great for them, and they don't necessarily land it, they don't do as well as you thought. Do you kind of go, okay,
no,
maybe
like I say, no, because that's about maybe I didn't bring you in for the right role, or maybe I brought you in for something and that role changed or got cut or turned into something else, or needed to fulfill a different purpose, or actually we've cast the mother who doesn't work as your mother, so we need to find, do you know what I mean? Right. So there's such an I was saying this to Ross, is that I used to do talks and I'd say to people, right, I'm going to tell you all the reasons why you're not going to get the job. Yeah. And basically it's kind of relieving you of the anxiety that so many decisions are made that you have no control over. So if you don't get a job the second, the third, the fourth time, it doesn't necessarily, it's not that, you know, the fact that I brought you in 4 times means I have faith in you. And I think you've got something. It's then my job to just find the right place to put you.
So there you go. It's not always even your fault if you don't get the part or you did a bad audition. Like Catherine said, sometimes casting directors get it wrong as well. And they might have brought you in for the wrong role. They might not have thought it through enough, or during the booking process of getting you in and then you actually doing the audition, the entire brief for that character might have changed, which is not your fault at all. But yeah, have faith. If you are being brought in, there's lots of people in the actsonthis.tv community who are being brought in consistently by the same casting directors, but they're not booking the job. But there's a reason you're being brought back in time and time again. It's not because they believe that they're just going to torture you and that you're never going to get a role. They believe in you, and they know you are good enough, and they're championing you so that you will eventually book something. So keep on going if that is what's happening with you. And if you're getting lots of self-tapes at the moment, who's getting lots of self-tapes? I'd like to know like how buoyant the community is in terms of casting right now, what's going on. I see a lot of people like, you know, posting stills of their self-tape setup and stuff that they're doing. Would be nice to know what's going on. Helen says, I'm spending 9k at uni this year and just about everything has gone online. It has. I normally teach voiceover at Staffordshire Uni, and I'm doing my sessions with them this year online, which is pretty cool actually. You know what? And do you know what their uni has done, which is really nice? Helen, ask your uni to do this for you. You could save some cash. Staffordshire Uni are buying their drama students memberships to actsonthis.tv, which is really cool. They get a slight deal because they can claim the VAT back because they're a university, but they're paying for them on the students' behalf, which is awesome. So if you're at a drama school and you want to be a member of actsonthis.tv, go and speak to your head of year and just go, listen, some universities are starting to buy their students memberships to actsonthis.tv, so we want them as well. And that'll make me very happy because you'll help me grow the community. So do let me know. But 9k, Helen, that's what I mean. 9k, yeah, I mean, that's dedication for you. But that's 27 grand. A membership to Acts on This will give you a better education on the business side of the business, without a doubt. You get to speak to the biggest names in the game every week, 50 sessions a year for 224 quid. Absolute no-brainer. So do get involved. Jill says she's got her day player scene filmed today and new headshots booked. Amazing, Jill. Good on you. Valerie says, I'm not convinced that headshots really show the true me, as a photographer doesn't know me. Do you know what, Valerie? A great headshot shoot is all in the pre-chat. It's all in sort of like the cup of coffee you have with the photographer before, you know, you do your shoot. Make sure you get to know them. And then if you use the same photographer, if you're happy with them and you go back again, your second shoot, like, you know, a year later is even better than the first, because it's kind of like, you know, you're meeting up with an old friend almost and you feel a bit more confident to try things out. Headshot shoots, without a doubt, are the most unnatural things you'll probably do as an actor. Because I don't think we're not models, are we? You know, I mean, obviously we've all got incredible model looks, but oh god, we haven't really. Well, I haven't. You obviously have, you beautiful people, but yeah, it's very unnatural. I feel awkward as hell, like at a headshot shoot. I really do. I don't quite know what to do. I never feel like I can open my eyes wide enough. They're not amazing experiences, I don't think, for a lot of people. And you're only looking. What I love about them though is you might get like 1,000 shots back, and you're looking for like 3 that are decent. And yes, you've got to go through, and you should do this on your own. Don't, whatever you do. I see so many people do it, and I just think it's a mistake. Posting like contact sheets of headshots in Facebook groups going, hiya guys, here's my new shots. Here's 75,000 of them. Why don't you choose mine? No, we don't know you. And it also means if you post it in a group of 9,000 people, you're going to get 9,000 conflicting ideas. It's nonsense. You choose. You should be objective enough, and you should know yourself well enough to know what authentically represents you, not the picture you think you look the fittest in. That's another thing actors do. I don't really fit in that. I'll choose that one, even though it looks nothing like me on a normal day. No, choose the shot that's going to walk through the door when a casting director books you for an audition. That's the shots you should be choosing, but definitely, don't post them in Facebook groups. I just think it's a bad idea, and yet it's the first thing actors do when they get 75,000 headshots back from their headshot photographer, which is something that you should go through on your own. But it is about Valerie. It's definitely about just feeling at home with that, with that photographer. And it's still, even then, it still doesn't feel like completely natural at all. Julie says, "Thank you. Your reply regarding my reply from Jenny Radcliffe." Yeah, go. Julie's taking action. Got a reply from Jenny Radcliffe, the head casting director at Coronation Street this week. Made up. I got one email from her though. Was in shock. Don't be in shock, Julie. Expect it. Expect great things to happen in your life, because it's way better than expecting the worst. Definitely, I've got a personal thing going on at the moment where I have to expect the best. I'll share this with you because I'm not bothered. I've got on the bottom of my stomach, right? I noticed a couple of years ago. This is nothing to do with acting. We've gone on to a dilemma here, but I noticed a little mole appear that I hadn't had before, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm 35. Why am I getting moles? That's not right. But it looked completely normal. Over the last couple of weeks, it's gone a bit darker. I was like, right, I'm going to get that checked out. So I sent it to my GP today and went, mate, can you book me in with a dermatologist? Because this doesn't look quite right. And he's like, yeah, it doesn't look quite right, mate. We'll book you in. And I'm like, oh, shit. I need to now expect the good things to happen, not expect the worst. Otherwise, you end up having, and we've all done this, haven't we? When you're waiting for something from a doctor or a test result or whatever, you always have that 2 weeks of like nonsense where you're like, oh, God, I feel so bad and I'm worried about this thing. And then you focus on that so much that you rob yourself. You consciously steal happiness from yourself. Because I've done this before, and I'm determined not to do it this time, because, a good thing will happen in your life, but you've got this in the back of your mind, and you will say to yourself, oh, if only I didn't have this, I could celebrate that and I could enjoy that. And I'm like, no, I'm going to choose to expect it all to be fine. It's probably denial. I'm sure it is going to be fine. And you must do that in your acting career as well. When you send stuff out, don't rob yourself of happiness by going, oh, I'm going to get ignored. Oh, I'm shit. Oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, my show real shit. Oh, because you're just consciously doing yourself sabotage, basically. But on the other hand, if anybody does have any great dermatologists in the Manchester area who you can pay privately to check you out quicker, because I might have to wait 2 weeks, then do let me know. But that's my take on optimism, basically. Practical optimism. That's what it is. It's not delusion. It's just practical optimism. Going, actually, you know what? I know the likelihood that this is fine, is going to be fine, so I'm going to practically be optimistic. And you must do that in your acting career, because if every time you sent something, you went, oh, well, I'm not going to get an answer, I don't think you're going to write the best emails. I don't think you're going to shoot the best showreel scenes. I don't think you're going to take the best photographs. I don't feel you're going to be motivated to get up in the morning and send anything. So, you've got to be optimistic. It's probably a squashed raisin, says Wendy. I wish it was, Wendy. It's completely flat if you want to know about the mole. So it's not one of those raisin ones. It's just gone a little bit of a weird shape. It's not like round anymore. It's sort of looks a little bit like a Star Wars fighter ship, an X-wing out of Star Wars. It's a bit weird, but yeah, hopefully it's all going to be absolutely fine. It doesn't look nasty. But it definitely looks like, I should get it checked out. But yeah, let us know. Nicola says you're a fucking legend. Thanks, Nicola. I've got to try and be positive, haven't you? I'm just like, what's the fucking point in worrying about it though? Genuinely, I've done all that I can now. There's just literally nothing. There's nothing else really to do. Steve says I've been penciled in for an advert after a self-tape, but I got taken off it. But I got taken off it the day before the recall. Despite this, the penciling in shows me that I have upped my self-taping game. Steve, mate, that's unlucky. That happens. Ultimately, mate, the fact that you got penciled, ultimately you got the job, right? I've been penciled for an ad. Do you know what? I once, for an advert, this was for an MBNA credit card advert, right? I looked at the brief of the advert, and it was basically a guy shooting a vlog about a credit card. Now, at the time, Me and Petch, who you'll know was my cameraman at the time, now he's like the editor for Ats on This and does a lot of stuff, you know, a lot of admin and just sort of like the community manager for AtsOnThis.tv. Petch started off just filming my vlog for me, so he would follow me around with a camera. It sounds egotistical as fuck, but it was actually pretty decent. It was all value driven. It wasn't just the Ross show. You can go and watch it on youtube.com/watch Ross. But I saw this brief and it was just a vlog of vlogging a credit card. And I went, actually, Petch, you know what? We can just make this. So we just made it. And when I went into the audition, they were making everybody act out the scene. And I went in, bit weird, with my laptop and went, guys, I'll gladly do the improv with you here, but I've just made you the advert. And we just gathered around my laptop and I just played it. And they were like, holy shit, like you've just done the advert. They didn't make me audition. They just went, can we just pencil you? We'll just pencil you off the back of that. And I left there, mate, thinking, well, I've nailed that, haven't I? I've basically shown them the actual finished goods. They could probably just take that if they wanted and just put it out there. And then I got unpenciled about a week later. So they clearly found someone that they like better, mate. But in my head, that just proves that they thought I was good enough to do the job, and it must, you know, it should have that effect on you as well. You should take confidence from that, going, you know what, I actually got that job. You know, they'll always pencil 2-3 people. There might just been one other person up against you, and again, for those reasons Catherine mentioned, you just might not have looked exactly the same as someone else in the advert that they wanted, you know, to play you off or whatever, or you might have looked the same, and that's why they didn't want you. So it's great that you got that off a self-tape, mate. So you know, onwards and upwards, like you say, good stuff. Had some bloods done, says Sharon, and they all came back normal. Was expecting that, though. I've got to get bloods done tomorrow, Sharon. Look at us all getting medical on tonight's broadcast. Might have been different if they'd done the right ones, though. If they'd done the right... What do you mean? Done the wrong bloods? Are you, like, cheating your bloods, Sharon, like you're in the Olympics? Worrying doesn't do anything positive, says Alicia. If anything can make things worse. Yeah, I think, honestly... And there's, you know what, we're all going to worry. You know, I can't say there's not an inkling of concern, because of course there is. It would be odd if there wasn't. I absolutely massively respect my health, but I honestly believe that, worrying, we know when you worry, you raise the levels of cortisol in your body. That's a stress hormone. It causes inflammation. And I honestly believe worrying can make you sick. Well, you say, don't you, I'm worried sick, and that's a real thing. I think you can worry yourself sick. Worry can literally put people in the hospital if they're not careful. So you've got to, again, separate fact and emotion. The fact is, you know, what's called an atypical mole, if you've got a mole that looks a bit odd, you know, you've got a 1 in 100 chance, a 1% chance of it ever turning into anything serious. So rather than focusing on the 1 out of 100, you know, which you want to do as a human being, you know, you've got to separate the emotion and the facts and go, actually, you know what, I have to focus on the 99% chance that this isn't, you know, a problem. If someone came up to you and said, give us £1,000 and there's a 99% chance you'll double your money, I think there's going to be a lot of people who will be tempted with that to go, oh, God, okay, I'll give it a go. I'm not going to be the 1 in 100. And yet when it's health, what do? Oh, I'm going to be the 1 in 100. So you've got to, you've got to separate that fact and emotion. You do have to do that in every area of your life and the acting game as well. And there are definitely situations. I lost a very close friend of mine last week, Pat Walker. Massive shout out to him. Was such an amazing guy in my life. 55 years old, man. So young. He passed away last week. And it does put you in a completely different zone around mortality and this industry where you just, you know, what you're bothered about, what you're worried about sending an email for, what you're worried about sending a tweet for, someone not liking your scene that you put out. Who gives a shit? You know, I literally, right now, I couldn't care more less than I probably ever cared before. This is because I've lost 3 friends in the last year. Eric James Dean, total legend in the Ats on This community. Pat Walker, absolute legend in my life. And Paula Williamson was a great friend of mine I went to drama school with. She was only in her 30s. 3 in a year, man. And it's like they would do anything to come back and have another crack at this. So let's not, you know, worry about shit that is just not important in life. It just really, really isn't. So yeah. Practical optimism. Let's make it louder. Positive thoughts will all be okay. Thanks, Julie. Excellent. And Wendy says she misses Watch Ross. Used to watch it religiously. Maybe I'll bring back a special episode for Christmas or something, Wendy. The 2020 Chronicles. I'll get me and Petch in December if coronavirus hasn't locked the whole world down. And let's think practically positive that it hasn't. We'll do a special episode for Christmas, and I'll put that out. Yeah, we'll resurrect the YouTube channel. It's still there though. If you want to watch, youtube.com/watch Ross. You'll see what we used to get up to on a weekly basis behind the scenes of my acting career, various businesses I was building, a lot of my voiceover career. You'll see me land what was the biggest voiceover job of my life. Literally, we caught that live on camera. And then you see me go behind the scenes of that voiceover job as I did that job for a year. I think it's pretty interesting. It wasn't just one of these, a vlog where you sit down in front of your camera and talk to the camera. It was literally like a documentary following us around, generally around Media City, doing work and stuff like that. But it was decent. It was a good experience. It was just a lot of work. So we stopped doing it in the end so I could focus more on giving value to members of ActsOnThis.tv and we could do more features for you guys. Paolo says, "Hi Ross, recently my old agency contacted me about a possible voiceover. It's for a client I did some work while I was with them. What should I do? Accept the offer? Tell my current agent?" So it depends. So Paolo, it depends, mate. Right? You will have. It depends really, because if that was a contract that your original agent got you, it's interesting because it might be a negotiation between your old agent and your new agent. Normally, when you move agents, you would have what's called a protected list, which if it's for acting is a lot more simpler than voiceover, because for acting they just print out your spotlight submissions, give it to your new agent, and then any of those that come into anything that anything is made of, they're protected. They go to your old agent, the commission for those. When it's voiceover, I don't because it doesn't work off spotlight, so there isn't a protected list. My advice would be never ever ever do anything that you feel uncomfortable doing. So if your new agent, I'm always just so honest, mate. I'm like, you know what? And I've done this before where I've paid commission twice. I've gone, you know what? I'm going to give you commission and I'm going to give you commission. And one of the agents has gone, no, we don't want that. It's fine. The other agent can have it. But I've gone, you know what? I'll just give it you anyway. Just because sometimes it's the right thing to do. So it depends how much it is. But never do anything that's sneaky, or that if you thought, an agent found out you'd done, it would look bad on you. That's no job's worth that. Not unless it's £20 million, in which case that's all right. No, in fact, it's still not all right. It's still not all right, because if you get a £20 million job, you can easily afford commission twice. So, my advice is honesty is always the best policy, mate. I would tell both. Tell your current agent and see if there's a negotiation. Or your current agent might just go, Paolo, they got you that job from way back. It's like a repeat of a job you've already had. It's fine. We don't want any commission on it. I've been very lucky because my agent Jane is like almost too kind in that respect. Sometimes I have to force commission at her because she's like, no, it's fine. I'm like, Jane, take some money. She's amazing. Right, what else have we got? Got 10 minutes left for some Q&A. Just learned the new word, penciled. Oh yeah, Sandra, because you're from Germany, you might not know that. Oh, we don't want to confuse you, right? But there are different pencils as well. So in the UK industry, it only ever applies to adverts. You never get penciled for a drama job or anything like that. But if you're up against multiple actors for an advert, they will often pencil a few people in, and the client will decide on who they want. And it could be anywhere between 2 people. Sometimes you can be penciled in and it's just you. So it's only like, if the client decides they definitely don't want to use you, you've got the job. But there's different types of pencils sometimes. When I worked at a casting director, sometimes I'd have to phone up and go, yeah, can we pencil Dave, John and Alex, but can we heavy pencil Tim? And that means that they really want Tim, but if they can't have him or the client doesn't want him, they'll have Dave, John or Alex or whatever names I just said then. So you can have a light pencil, a pencil and a heavy pencil. And the worst thing is when casting directors don't let agents know when those light pencils or pencils can be released, because sometimes that can cause a conflict where you don't go for another job because you're penciled for this one, and then you'd find out that the other casting director could have let you go 2 days ago, but they didn't get round to phoning your agent, and that can cause some friction sometimes. So agents need to kind of be on the ball, and casting directors are generally pretty good at that anyway. But yeah, you can be light penciled, or heavy penciled. At least you could back in the day. I've not done adverts for a while, but that's how it used to work. I feel all this medical talk is research for day player hospital roles. Yeah, it is. I could do that. Yeah, if you were filming a day player role, I could be like, listen, man, found this mole on my stomach, man. It doesn't look right, and you can be like, actually, it better end well, though. We're not doing any drama. It's going to be like, oh, it's absolutely fine, Ross. And I go, oh, phew, thanks for that. I don't care if it is fine. I'm going to have it cut out 100%. That bad boy is not staying around. I'll tell you that for sure. Look on the upside, Ross. At least it was in a place you could see it. Yeah. I thought that, Brendan, mate. I thought, what if that was on my back? And I would never have seen it. I mean, I'm not a moly person. I'm not one of these people with lots of moles, so it was odd. I think I've only got like 3 or 4 on my body anywhere. So that's why I kind of noticed it. I just went, oh, it looks a bit darker, that. And then you know what you like. You're like, oh, God, I'm going to Google it. Oh, shit. Why did I Google this? Why have I done this? Oh, look at me now. I can't stop Googling. Oh, I'm down the rabbit hole. I'm dead. It's life, innit? That's what it's like. Dangerous. A little information on the internet is dangerous when it comes to medical stuff. Because I could talk to a doctor now about moles and using words like, dysplasticity and dysplasia, atypical, nevi, nevus, and they'd think he really knows what he's talking about. No idea. Basically just, watched a couple of videos on YouTube. So it is a dangerous game when you start looking up things, but that's what we do, and then you get obsessed with it. I'm like, no, I just need to see a dermatologist now. Get it out of my life. Give it a positive spin, says Nicola. You're such a big Star Wars geek that your own body has given you a bit of memorabilia. I'm not really a big Star Wars geek, though, Nicola. I feel I don't deserve the X-Wing on my stomach. I feel Petch is a far greater Star... Chris Stone is a bigger Star Wars geek, but, I don't want people to get X-Wings on the stomach. I don't... they deserve to stay in space. Definitely. But yeah, it's a little bit bizarre. Dr. Google is the worst thing you can do. It definitely is. Whatever you do not turn to Dr. Google. Brendan is a nurse in the Acts on This community. He might have some more medical knowledge, but Dr. Google is not good. Dougal, Dr. Dougal Ram has got to go, everybody. But Dougal, Dougal, whatever you do, don't Google anything. Thanks for being here, mate. I appreciate it. We're going to wrap it up soon ourselves anyway. But yeah, let us know how your week goes. But good luck with it all, mate. Hope everything is good. So we've got what we got. We're just under 10 minutes, basically 9 minutes or so, to do a little bit of Q&A. I'll tell you first of all what's going on this week. Normally at this point in the broadcast, I would play you guys a trailer for our next member-only mastermind, okay? And that would normally be happening this Thursday. Now, I can't do that because I don't have one. And it's not because I am not planning one or we're not going to do our best to have one, but we're going to try and do something special this week, and I just hope we can pull it off. Right now, it's not 100% confirmed, but we're trying our best. Now, ITV had a drama last week called Des. It starred Daniel Mays, Jason Watkins, and David Tennant. It was absolutely extraordinary. I think it was some of the best television I've seen in the last decade. It was created by 2 amazing guys, Luke Neal and a great friend of Acts on This, Lewis Arnold, a fantastic director. And they did an amazing job of it. Now, I text Lewis. He actually reached out to me months ago to go, mate, when Des comes out, can we do a feature for Acts on This? I'm like, yes, we absolutely can. Obviously, can't do it in person, so we're going to do it online. Now, I want to, if possible, bring Lewis, Luke, Daniel Mays, potentially Jason Watkins, Victor Jenkins, who cast Des. So we've got Victor Jenkins, Daniel Mays, Luke, Lewis, and Victor. Because I don't think we can get David Tennant. But Daniel Mays is filming at the moment. He's been doing stuff this week. I think he was on Philip and Holly Willoughby's. What is it, This Morning? Is that they do This Morning? I think they do. I always get This Morning and Good Morning Britain mixed up. I think it's Piers who does Good Morning Britain and Holly and Phil who do This Morning or Good Morning. Oh, God, I've no idea. But he was on that this morning, and he's filming, I think, Code 404 with Stephen Graham. So he's not available through the week. So we're going to aim, fingers crossed, if Lewis can figure it out for us, and praying he can, we're going to aim for this weekend. But I'm not going to be able to let you guys know until much later in the week, so it might be a bit of a last-minute thing. But it will be recorded for all members of Acts on This.tv who can't make it. You will find that in the members area early next week if you can't make it. But that's the plan. And then we do have the guests for the next 2 weeks lined up after that. I'm not going to spoil the surprise for you, but they're boxed in and they're all good. So I'm going to try my hardest to make that happen this weekend, because Des was absolutely fantastic. It was such an incredible drama. It was really very, very good. Chilling, and at times absolutely so sort of sensational in terms of the crime and how it was kind of played out, that you'd be like, wow, this writing's amazing. And actually, you had to steel yourself and go, no, wait a minute, this is real? Like, how horrific. This was actually real. So it's one of those things where you kind of like, you don't want to... sometimes when you're watching the villain in something, you're like, oh my God, like, it's fascinating. And you kind of get this real fascination with this guy. But in this, you kind of get that. And then you're like, no, I can't have that. It's almost like feels wrong because this is actually a real person. So it's a real it's a real strange watch, but it is a fantastic show. It's on ITV Hub. It's 3 episodes, 3 hour long. Go and watch it if you've not watched it, and particularly watch it before the weekend in case we do this. Fingers crossed we will. So that's what we're going to do. Alicia says, I will sell my soul to get on if you get David Tennant. That is all. I don't think it's a matter of never getting him. I think we'll definitely get him at some point. I just don't know if he's available for this. But you know what? I mean, you just don't know. I am waiting to hear back off Lewis. I don't want to keep pecking his head. I've sent him 3 texts this week already, and it's only Monday. So I'm hoping behind the scenes he's working very hard for us. Fingers crossed. Lewis, if you're watching, please sort it out. But it will be a fascinating chat because we're going to get such a rounded discussion on, Lewis and Luke creating it and writing and getting it written. Lewis directing it. Jason and Daniel starring in it, and Victor casting it. So it will be an incredibly fascinating conversation, and one of the biggest Zoom calls we've done with that many guests. So it'll be decent. So fingers crossed, we will have that down. But I will keep you all posted on that. But then we'll be back to the usual schedule the following Tuesday, and then the Thursday after that, and I will let you know who those guests are in good time, so that you can join those as well. Lorraine says Des was just the best acting I've seen. David Tennant really surprised me. Not that I've not known he was a great actor, because he is, but he never plays characters like this. His characters are just not like this. Des is an extraordinary character, and obviously it's based on a real person who was an extraordinary character. Very unlike anything I've seen David Tennant ever play. Very honest, fascinating, absolutely fascinating. So do go and watch it. And Des was a once-in-a-lifetime show, masterclass in acting, horrifying story, and just intense, says Nicola. There you go. There's a review for you, Lewis. Definitely. And Alicia says peck away. She wants me to peck away at Lewis to go on, sort it out. You need to watch The Real Des. Yeah, I saw that, Wendy. I've not seen it, but I've seen that ITV have done it. The ITV did a documentary voiced by David Tennant, and it's chilling. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much of it I want to watch, though. It's a heavy story. So if you're in a fragile place, probably watch something more fun. I'll probably not watch anything super fun until I've got the all clear on this dodgy mole. I want to keep the vibes high. I'm going to keep the vibes high, Wendy, definitely. Sandra, you won't be able... So Sandra's having issues watching stuff from Germany, even through a VPN. If anybody knows of any... That stands for a virtual private network. Sometimes you can spoof these sites like ITV and BBC into playing you their content because it looks like you are watching it from the UK even when you're not. I don't know. It's not exactly dodgy, is it? It's not like copying stuff. So if anybody's got any ideas for how Sandra in Germany can reliably watch ITV and BBC or Channel 4, then let her know, will you? Because I don't know the answer to that, unfortunately, Sandra. But I just know that there are VPNs out there. There's some really poor ones, and there's some good ones that you have to pay for. The ones that you pay for generally are better. I've had to do that when I wanted to watch like American Netflix. I've got an American VPN. Don't have it anymore, but I did back in the day when there wasn't a lot of stuff on UK Netflix. But we seem to get better now, where everything gets released in every country more or less at the same time. So do give Sandra the goods if you do know the solution to that. That would be amazing. Awesome. Looks like everybody loved a bit of Des. Right, well, we've got 3 minutes. Anyone got anything that they need to say? Any questions they want to get out? Anything they want to say at the community before we do wrap it up? If you've been watching this on the replay or you're listening on the replay, and you're not a member of actsonthis.tv, I don't know what more I have to do. Literally bringing you the biggest names in the game who you get to speak to on a weekly basis from home. I mean, I don't know anyone else who's doing that. Not for, it works out something stupid like £1.47p a session. You get 7 sessions a month for 24 quid. Mentors, 14 hours of coaching from the biggest names in the industry. Go and get membership at actsonthis.tv/live. I will not say it again. Get your membership, otherwise get out. I'm joking. So yeah, let us know if anything else is happening. We've got a minute left before I will wrap it up. Everyone's just banging on about Des, saying how amazing it was. Good, isn't it? Kiefer says it's worth every penny in capital letters. There you go. Go get your membership. Join people. It's worth it and then some. Do you know what I do want to do? Actually, this would be really interesting. I want to put some members of actonthis.tv who have implemented the advice they've got off these casting directors or agents, etc., that we've had on, have implemented it and had success. Either they've landed a new agent, they've got auditions for stuff, they've auditioned and got parts in stuff. And I want to do like a member spotlight where it'll just be literally me and you jump on Zoom for 15 minutes and just talk about the story, what you did, how you did it, and the success and the results that you got from it. Maybe we'll do a round table where we'll get 2 or 3 people on and we'll all have a chat for a bit longer. But I think it's about time to start putting you guys a bit more in the spotlight when you are implementing this stuff and you are having success, because it's good for everyone. It's a win-win for everybody. People then have more faith in the community if they're on the fence. They're like, actually, this works. Even though, you just need to look at the guests that we get on. Like, it definitely works. They would not be coming on if the site wasn't legit. But I think it's always nice to hear from people who have been in your situation and then they've had a result. So if you have had a result, then do reach out to me, ross@actonthis.tv. Let me know, and we'll arrange to jump on a Zoom and we'll do a little member spotlight at some point, which would be great. Valerie says, topic for another time. A young actor asked me, why do casting directors cast smaller roles on TV to well-known people and not give them out more? It depends, Valerie, because they do, a lot of the time, they do give the smaller roles. It depends what you mean by smaller role. The 5-liners always go to the unknowns unless it is going to be a massive show, in which case more people with profile wouldn't mind doing 5 lines. You do get shows like that. At one point, Downton Abbey, after 6 seasons, George Clooney was like, I want to do a few lines in it. And then, other massively famous people were like, yeah, I'll do a line, and they'd never normally do that. So it just depends on the size of the show. But when you listen to a lot of the casting directors we get on, it does get boring for them if they're just, seeing the same people. So they do get the leeway to take more risks on those smaller roles. But I'm talking like, the couple of liners here and there. You might be talking about smaller roles where someone is like a supporting artist, where they're in it, like a supporting role, not a supporting artist, not like a background artist, but like, a supporting, like, maybe 3 or 4 episodes of 6 episodes. They're playing a supporting role like that. But yeah, we'll, again, we can quiz all the cast directors to get on. We can ask them, Valerie, and we can get you a job. That's the goal for Acts on This, get everybody a job. Already gained a lot of info, and it's actually inspired me to drive on. Only been in the community a week. Lorraine, Total Ledge, thanks for being here. It means the world. And let's keep driving on. Definitely. Alex says, I'd say you helped me with getting my agent. Alex, congrats on signing with your agent, mate. But we'll get you on to talk about that. Esther said, would be great to do this. Definitely join. It's so worth it. Says Caroline. Thank you, Caroline. When I get my part on EastEnders, I'll come on. You will, Wendy. I'll make you 100%. Definitely. Annette Badland had 2 lines in Strike a couple of weeks ago. If you're a massive fan of the show, though, you just be like, right, I'll do those 2 lines. Definitely. Anything else? I don't think we've got any other questions or anything that I've missed tonight. But thank you so much for being here. Maya's just said, what's this about self-tapes? Not much time to get a child license, which can take up to 21 days, apparently. How does that work? Child licensing is an absolute pain in the backside, Maya. It all goes through your local education authority, your LEA. Sometimes some LEAs, some boroughs can be really helpful and you get one through very quickly. Sometimes they can actively be awkward and you're really just getting in the way. It's normally something that the casting director sorts out with production. And the casting director should have great connections with the local LEAs in the area because they'll probably use them a lot. So it's not normally your job. To be honest, you wouldn't have to worry about that. The casting director and production will sort that out for you. But there is no sort of I don't think there's any set time. It says it can take up to 21 days, but I've known casting directors that I've been working with get them much quicker than that, within 2 or 3 days. So it just depends on how cooperative the LEA are. But fingers crossed they'll sort that out for you. Awesome. Right, I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you so much. The Monday Night Lives always set me up for the week and motivates me for hustle, says Nicola. That's what it's all about. Gotta hustle. Do you know, I've not really got anything to play you guys tonight. Normally I'd set something up because I'd have the trailer for next week, but I actually don't have. I don't have anything that I've not played out tonight. So what I'll have to do probably is play out one of the clips. Excuse me. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? Because those people on the audio experience, you missed the mashup of Catherine Willis's mastermind call, I'll play at you, and therefore you haven't missed anything. So for those who are here live, you've already seen this, but watch it again if you want. But this is a mashup of Catherine's full chat that we did last week. It's 2 hours long. Catherine Willis is one of the biggest TV casting directors, particularly in comedy in the UK. If you want to know how you can get in the room with her or do a cell tape for her, ultimately you want to know what she likes, what she doesn't like, and how you can up your chances of getting a casting with her, you want to get over to actsonthis.tv and get your membership. You will find the full 2 hour chat along with 400 hours worth of other material in the members area. But I'm going to play you the mashup for those people who are on the audio experience because you didn't get this at the beginning. Thanks, guys. I'll keep you posted on everything. I'll keep you posted about Saturday. Fingers crossed we're going to get that working. If not, we're definitely going to do it at some stage, though. Don't worry. And we will be back next Tuesday with the regular schedule. So have a fantastic week. Go out, get them. Let's make optimism and positivity louder. And yeah, just go out there and ask for what you want, ultimately. Don't be afraid to ask. That's the key. And I'll let you know how this mole goes. Fingers crossed. It's all going to be fine. Until next time, lots of love. Bye for now. Responsible for casting some absolutely massive TV shows. Recently, that includes Idris Elba's In the Long Run and also an upcoming film version of the awesome Asim Chowdhury's People Just Do Nothing. It's casting director Catherine Willis. Catherine, welcome to Acts on This. How are you? What is your process? We spoke about this the other day where you're like, actually, it'd be useful to come on and just basically, tell these guys exactly what your process is.
It's just about putting lists together. I read a script and have my ideas. I do a lot of talking to the directors and the producers about their ideas, and they're often quite different.
Let's say that you're not necessarily right for that role, but you liked them in the audition. Would you then have a go-to list where you're like, he's good, so we'll bring him back in for something else if something else comes in for him?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like I say, it's my job to know as many actors as possible, and there's actors who I've kind of met for job after job after job, and I just haven't brought them in for the right thing. What you have to remember is we, casting directors, we need actors. We want actors.
What is your kind of favourite style of comedy?
Should I put some comedy clips into my show reel or have a separate comedy show reel on Spotlight?
If you wanted to get into comedy, would you suggest you have kind of a comedy flavoured kind of headshot, something that's a little bit more, just a normal one?
No, because there's nothing worse than someone trying to prove they're funny in a photograph. My thing is about being generous, because I know I've met for, even between casting directors, there can be a bit of, what have you met for, and blah, blah, blah. And I feel very strongly like I'm either the right person for the job or I'm not. If they meet me and I don't get it, it's not because they didn't go for the interview. It's because I wasn't right for that job. Do you know what I mean? And you have to trust that as an actor. So I think just kind of look after each other a bit, really. And we're all in the same boat. Casting directors, producers, directors, makeup artists, everything. We're all just trying to make it work.